That guy is just going to wake up when he's retired, just fall into the Hall of Fame. Like he deserves it. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Showtime, baby!
Adrian Peterson, Hall of Famer or not? Being inducted into the Hall of Fame is the pinnacle of achievement for any football player. And Adrian Peterson's journey from adversity to greatness on the gridiron is nothing short of remarkable. Throughout his football career, Peterson has reached incredible highs and achieved remarkable feats. But the big question is if his career deserves a place in the Football Hall of Fame.
Showtime, baby. Godspeed right here, baby. Bam, bam. Let's go. Woo!
From the moment Adrian Peterson was destined for greatness, both his parents were athletic powerhouses. Mom, Bonita Brown, dominated the track scene in high school and scored a scholarship for her speed and jumping skills at the University of Houston. Meanwhile, Dad, Nelson Peterson, had his sights set on basketball glory at Idaho State until a tragic accident involving his brother left him with a wounded leg. Life wasn't easy for Peterson. Witnessing his brother Brian's tragic death in a biking accident caused by a drunk driver was just the beginning. Football became his refuge, a place where he poured all his emotions into the game. By the tender age of 12, he was already a standout player, leaving his peers in awe with his unrelenting drive on the field. But just when things seemed to be looking up, another challenge struck again. At the age of 13, his dad got into serious trouble for involvement in crack cocaine dealings, resulting in a hefty 10-year prison sentence. Losing his dad, after already enduring the loss of his brother and friend, only fueled Peterson's determination to rise above his circumstances. And he did. At Palestine High School, Peterson blossomed into a three-sport sensation, shining in football, basketball, and track. But what set Peterson apart was his combination of lightning speed and Herculean strength on the football field. He played with an unmatched ferocity, leaving opponents in his wake. In his junior year, he racked up an impressive 2,051 yards on 246 carries, averaging a staggering 8.3 yards per carry and scoring 22 touchdowns. Yet he managed to outdo himself in his senior year. Peterson blew everyone away with an astonishing 2,960 rushing yards on just 252 attempts, boasting an eye-popping average of 11.7 yards per carry and scoring an incredible 32 touchdowns. His performance was so jaw-dropping that he became a consensus 5-star recruit and was the top running back and overall prospect in the 2004 class. He clinched the title of the top high school player by College Football News and also won the prestigious Hall Trophy as the U.S. Army National Player of the Year. Colleges across the nation were vying for his talent, with offers pouring in from powerhouse programs like Miami, USC, Texas, UCLA, and Oklahoma. With the world at his feet, Peterson ultimately chose to join the Oklahoma Sooners. Peterson arrived at Oklahoma with a weight of sky-high expectations resting squarely on his shoulders. Everyone knew his name and his reputation, and they expected him to live up to the insane hype right from day one. With all eyes fixed on him, Peterson didn't disappoint. He blazed through his first 9 games, rushing over 100 yards in each, setting a freshman record. By season's end, he had racked up 1,925 rushing yards, leading the conference and smashing yet another NCAA freshman record. His stellar performance helped the Sooners to a flawless regular season and a shot at the national championship, although they fell short against USC. Despite this, Peterson's incredible season saw him finish second in the Heisman Trophy race, a remarkable feat for a true freshman, and he became the first freshman in school history to earn first-team AP All-American honors. After his fairy tale debut, Peterson's name and his unstoppable running style were on the lips of every football fan. However, his aggressive playing style took its toll in his sophomore year as injuries plagued him, causing him to miss parts of 4 games due to a high ankle sprain. Despite the setbacks, he still managed to rush for 1,208 yards and 14 touchdowns on 220 carries. Heading to his junior year, Peterson was determined to cement his status among college football's elite running backs and secure his spot in the big leagues. He started strong, averaging 150 yards per game in the first 5 outings, but in Week 7, disaster struck as he broke his collarbone after a spectacular 53-yard touchdown run, sidelining him for the rest of the regular season. Nonetheless, he still tallied 1,012 rushing yards and 13 touchdowns. The following season, Peterson declared for the 2007 NFL Draft, despite his impressive college career with over 4,041 yards and 41 touchdowns in just 31 games. Concerns about his long-term durability caused him to slip to the Minnesota Vikings at pick number 7.
With the 7th pick in the 2007 NFL Draft, The Minnesota Vikings select Adrian Peterson, running back, Oklahoma.
Going 7th in the draft was more than enough motivation for Peterson, and he showed he was a man on a mission throughout his rookie season. First, he set an NFL record for all-purpose yards in a Week 6 game against the Bears with 361, thanks to 224 rushing, 9 receiving, and 128 return yards. 2 weeks later, in a game against the Chargers, Peterson set the league's single-game rushing yard record with 296 yards on the ground, also scoring 3 touchdowns. In 14 games played that year, he ran for 1,341 yards and 12 touchdowns. Despite missing 2 games due to injury, Peterson finished second in the league in total rushing yards, first in rushing yards per game, and won the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. He was named second-team All-Pro and made the Pro Bowl, but he somehow topped it off by winning the Pro Bowl MVP against league veterans, capping off one of the most dominant rookie seasons in NFL history. After a near-perfect start to his NFL career, expectations were sky-high for year 2, and Peterson didn't disappoint. He recorded 10 games going over 100 rushing yards to go along with 10 rushing touchdowns across the season, and ultimately finished the season leading the league in rushing with 1,760 yards, which was the 3rd most ever by a player in his second season. He was named first-team All-Pro. The following season in 2009, Peterson led the NFL in another major category for the first time, rushing touchdowns, with 18, and finished with 1,383 rushing yards and a career-high 43 receptions for 436 receiving yards, which was good enough to be named first-team All-Pro for a second straight year. By the 2010 season, Peterson was very much in his prime, surpassing the 5,000-yard career rushing mark midway through the season. He ended the year with 1,267 rushing yards and 12 touchdowns, earning another All-Pro selection and a spot in the Pro Bowl. By this time, the Vikings were convinced of Peterson's potential to be one of the greatest to ever play the game. So on the eve of the 2011 season, they awarded him a 7-year, $96 million extension, making him the highest-paid running back in league history. However, the 2011 season brought Peterson his first major injuries in the NFL, a torn ACL and MCL, injuries notorious for robbing players of their speed and agility. Despite this setback, Peterson managed to tally 970 rushing yards and 12 rushing touchdowns, along with 18 receptions and 139 receiving yards. Questions arose about his future durability and athleticism. In the following 2012 season, Peterson silenced doubters with a superhuman comeback. Just 8 months after reconstructive ACL surgery, he returned with a vengeance, rushing for 2,097 yards, the second most in NFL history, falling just 9 yards short of Eric Dickerson's single-season record. Adding 12 touchdowns to his remarkable feat, Peterson clinched the NFL Offensive Player of the Year and the NFL Most Valuable Player awards. Remarkably, he also finished second in the NFL Comeback Player of the Year award voting, a testament to his extraordinary return from a serious injury, and to this day still remains the most recent non-quarterback player to win the NFL MVP award. Following his MVP season in 2012, Peterson continued his impressive performance in 2013, surpassing the 10,000 career rushing yards milestone, becoming the 3rd fastest player to reach that mark. He put up 1,266 rushing yards and 10 touchdowns in just 14 games. However, Peterson's quest to become an all-time great was abruptly halted in the 2014 season's second week, when he was indicted on child abuse charges for disciplining his son with a wooden switch. As a result, Peterson was placed on the NFL's exempt list and subsequently suspended for the remainder of the year. During the following offseason, Peterson received a second chance when he was reinstated to the league after a U.S. District Court judge ruled in favor of NFL Players Association's lawsuit against the NFL on Peterson's behalf. Upon his return, Peterson showed no signs of rust, leading the league with 1,485 rushing yards and 11 touchdowns. He became the first player since Barry Sanders to lead the league in rushing 3 times and was the oldest running back ever named first-team All-Pro at the age of 30. Reflecting on his return in an interview that year, Peterson said, "I run angry. Football allows me to take out some of my pain on the field." However, his hopes for back-to-back dominant seasons were dashed in 2016 when he suffered a torn meniscus and an LCL sprain in Week 2.
About as bad as it could be for Adrian Peterson's injured knee. An MRI confirmed he tore both his ACL and his MCL.
Sidelining him until Week 15, which marked his final appearance of the year. Following the season, the Minnesota Vikings made a surprising move, parting ways with Peterson, who had been the face of the franchise for a decade. Peterson was then signed to a 2-year, $7 million deal with the Saints in hopes of a fresh start. However, after rushing for a total of 81 yards in his first 4 games, the Saints traded him mid-season to the Cardinals.
News in the NFL, Diana Rossini is reporting there's a trade. New Orleans Saints have sent Adrian Peterson to the Cardinals. Obviously, David Johnson is injured. What's your thoughts on that? AP there in Arizona.
I like it.
In Arizona, he played 6 games, rushing for 448 yards before suffering a season-ending neck injury. Despite doubts about his future, the Washington Redskins took a chance on him, signing Peterson to a 1-year veteran minimum deal. Seen as his final shot in the league, Peterson proved he still had what it takes, rushing for 1,042 yards and 7 touchdowns, becoming the 5th player in NFL history to rush for over 1,000 yards in a season at the age of 33 or older. Impressed by his performance, Washington signed him to a 2-year, $8 million contract. However, the 2019 season saw a decline in his numbers, with 898 rushing yards and 5 rushing touchdowns, along with 17 receptions for 142 receiving yards. After the season, the Redskins decided to let Peterson go. He then signed a 1-year contract with the Lions in 2020, starting 10 games and finishing with 604 rushing yards. After his time with the Lions, it seemed once again that Peterson's career was over. However, in November, injury problems surfaced for the Titans' backfield, leading to Peterson being signed to their practice squad. Peterson rushed for 82 yards in 3 games for Tennessee before being released. He then signed with the Seattle Seahawks, playing a single game and setting history by scoring a rushing touchdown. He became the first player in NFL history to score rushing touchdowns with 6 different teams. Though Peterson last played in the NFL during the 2021 season, appearing in 3 games for the Tennessee Titans and 1 game with the Seattle Seahawks, he was not officially retired. However, to many, his time in the NFL seemed to be over. Yet if his career indeed concludes, one milestone Peterson may anticipate is enshrinement in Canton after the 2026 season. Now, Peterson's list of accomplishments during his career is extensive. He was voted NFL Most Valuable Player and NFL Offensive Player of the Year in 2012, NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year in 2007, and is a 4-time First-Team All-Pro and a 3-time Second-Team All-Pro. Additionally, he boasts 7 Pro Bowl appearances and 3 league rushing yard titles. He ranks 5th in NFL history with 14,918 career rushing yards and 4th with 120 rushing touchdowns. Notably, his MVP season in 2012 marks the last time a non-quarterback won the award. Peterson's numbers undeniably stand out, but the reality when it comes to the Pro Football Hall of Fame is that unless you're a long-term franchise quarterback with multiple Super Bowl victories, securing a spot isn't a guarantee, especially for running backs given their declining prominence in football. However, the undeniable truth is that Adrian Peterson's career ranks among the greatest in NFL history. His vision, speed, and power were unparalleled, making him a force to be reckoned with on the field. Peterson certainly established himself as one of the best running backs in NFL history. Many view his Hall of Fame candidacy as inevitable, given his incredible achievements and impact on the game. History supports this sentiment, with the majority of running backs who surpassed 11,000 rushing yards receiving the prestigious gold jacket. While Peterson's induction may not happen at the first time of asking, it's likely just a matter of time before he joins the elite ranks of Hall of Famers. And there you have it. Let us know in the comments below if you think Peterson will make it to the Hall of Fame. Be sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe to our channel for more NFL videos.